And I would really like to answer any questions that you have, so please feel free with questions at any time, including right now. And I would like this to be as interactive as possible, otherwise I'll just blah, blah, blah for 40 minutes and then we'll push you to sleep. And that's not really what we're here to do. And at some point I'll show you a sample of a prose piece being performed that might give you a better idea. I can talk about it forever, but seeing it is a lot different. And your first question that you might have, at least it was the first question I got today, and I think it's a good question, is what in God's name is prose? And I think the easy way to keep it straight in your head is there are three genres: poetry, prose, and drama. So prose is anything that's not poetry, and you know poetry because it's got lines and stanzas as opposed to paragraphs. And drama is written as a script, where you have a character and some stage directions and lines that they say. So if it's not prose, it's not poetry, and it's not drama, it's prose. So like a magazine article could be prose. It may not be the best thing to bring to competition, but technically that's prose. Usually what you're going to see in a prose round, or what you're going to try to look for in trying to find literature, is short stories. It's fictional literature. There are lots of variations, and I encourage you to think outside the box and be a little creative in your literature selections. But it's really important that you look around and try to find some good literature that you love, because at the end of the day, you want to have this piece of literature that you love sharing with an audience. And you may get first place in a big trophy, or you may not. But you don't want your satisfaction to rely on that trophy or not getting a trophy. You want to have literature that you enjoy sharing with, whoa, like this guy here. Oh, excuse me, did I knock over Jess's chair again? Good. Don't start yet. I'm not ready for you.
Is anybody good in the first one?
You want, at the end of the day, that you have this piece of literature that you love and you've shared it with a bunch of audience members, and that should be where your satisfaction comes from. And not to mention the fact that you're going to work really hard on your prose, I hope, because otherwise it will not be everything it should be. I'm trying to censor myself for lawyer there. I was going to say suck, but what did I just did? Darn. You want it to get the most out of it, and so you're going to work really hard on it. You're going to spend a lot of time living with this literature, and if you're not enthusiastic about it, you don't really love the literature, that becomes drag. So you want to spend some extra time looking for good lit, and that just takes time. If you're not a reader, it's hard to find good prose. There are some other options that I'm going to give a handout where you might find things that you can just listen to as opposed to reading. But ideally, if you read a lot, you're going to expose yourself to more literature. You have a question, yes?
Is it always one piece of literature, or can you use more than one?
Great question. You can use more than one. On the handout I give you, you'll see the AFA event description, and it says a selection or selections. And so if you have been to like the poetry workshop today or the program oral interpretation workshop, they talk about putting together a program where you're taking bits and pieces of different pieces of literature and combining them. You can also do that with prose. So it doesn't have to be just one. But if you're in that looking stage, maybe you're fortunate enough to have a team room with a library and you can look through. If not, go to Barnes & Noble or one of these kinds of places, sit down and get yourself a big old grande mocha latte, cappuccino, extra decaf, espresso, and grab some anthologies, some short story anthologies, and start looking through them and read as much as you can and try to find something that you can relate to and want to share. What I've done in this handout, and again, I don't want to give it to you just because it's sort of a distraction. I sort of laid out the process in a series of steps. After today, talk it over with your coach. People can approach this different, it doesn't have to be this way, but I've tried to make clear the many levels of things that you have to go through in order to really get a good prose piece together and continue to improve it and refine it to make it even better and more compelling and improve your performance of it. As a way of perhaps making this a little more concrete, I downloaded a video of a student doing prose. This is a really high-level prose piece. If you're just starting out, don't be intimidated and say, oh my God, I can't do that. Of course you can, you haven't started yet. This is, national caliber performance, and it's what you're aiming for ultimately, but I think it will give you a better idea of what you're shooting for. This is an incredibly talented young man. The acoustics and sound system in here are not great, especially with that air conditioner. But I have maxed this sucker out, and we're gonna try to lower the lights a bit and play this for you. And
I'll turn this off.
what's that? Yeah, you should probably turn that